Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Zeke-ollege football. I'm your host, as always, Zeke. And today we're going to be continuing on the series that I started where I was ranking teams entirely based on how much I like them, no other criteria for the 2024 season. Today we're going to be covering the hate and the strongly disliked tier. So the first couple episodes in the series was me putting these into tiers, and now we are actually ranking them. Now, for the hate tier, I don't see any surprises. Coming in at 134th, my least favorite team in all of FBS college football is going to be the Ohio State Buckeyes. Um, Considering I made a tier entirely on its own, just based on how much I dislike this team, I think that's not surprising that they're going in at 134th. Now, the strongly disliked category going to be a little bit more contentious, because far and away, by far the least favorite team for me is Ohio State. So we're just going to roll forward with these other teams. Now, right off the bat, when we're looking for my second least favorite team, it's most likely, you know what, scratch that. It's not going to be a group of five program. There's always that little inkling of underdog story whenever you're talking about the group of five. So Ball State, you're safe. Bowling Green, you're safe. Charlotte, Fresno State, UAB, South Florida, Wyoming, North Texas. These are all safe for now. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with Alabama. That's certainly possible. Indiana. Indiana, I'll spoil it right now, is not going to be my second to least favorite team. They have a good new head coach that I hope the best for in Kurt Cignetti. It's not going to be them. Uh, Oklahoma, it's possible. Nebraska, also possible. Don't really like Louisville all that much. But for me, it's Kansas. And the Kansas Jayhawks are a very interesting story in that Kansas, by all means, should be a likable team. They're a team that wasn't very good for a while and has now started to regain their footing as a football program. But I hate them. Oh, I hate them. And that is because I am a Missouri fan. I don't like Kansas. Uh, and their fans have been really annoying with the comparative to the amount of success that they've had. So Kansas is going to go at 133. Moving forward with 132, I'm going to put down Louisville. I just don't like the Cardinals. I don't like the pieces that they've brought in. They tried to bring in a piece that I liked in Penny Boone from Toledo. He transferred out. He's going to play for UCF now. There just really isn't anything in that Louisville program that makes me want to root for them. So, bye bye, Louisville. Now, sticking with it, Nebraska. Again, no no issues with the coaching staff there. I I tend to root for Matt Rule teams, but I cannot stand Nebraska. They have terrible uniforms, a boring color scheme, uh, great fan base. I have no issues with the Cornhusker fan base, but they're the Dallas Cowboys of college football, and I'm not too fond of Cowboys fans in general. So we are three teams, or pardon me, four teams down. So Ohio State, Kansas, Louisville, and Nebraska are all gone. And we're finally going to see that Alabama hammer fall. So Alabama is going to go in at 130. So the Crimson Tide coming in at 130. When you're arguably the most dominant team, you're gonna make some enemies. I did respect them a lot during the Nick Saban era. That era's over, and I'm rooting on their downfall. Uh, Now, next, we're gonna have Bowling Green. The first of the group of five. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put we're gonna put yeah, we're gonna put Ball State below Bowling Green. And that's for one reason. And it's a dumb reason, but it is my reason. One of the Bowling Green quarterbacks is a player by the name of Connor Bazelak. He's bounced around from a couple different teams. Before he played at Bowling Green, he played at Indiana. But before he played at Indiana, he was a Missouri Tiger. And he was a player who we thought was going to be program changing. You know, he came in as a freshman, and then in his redshirt freshman year, he beat LSU back in 2020. We thought, oh my gosh, he's the guy moving forward. Uh, he was not the guy. But that being said, I still have deep down in my heart a little soft spot for Connor Bazelak. So that's what puts Bowling Green at 128, not 129. So thank you, Connor. So two MAC schools are gone. Also, can't really hate all that much on midweek action. It's just so nice. Now we're gonna have Oklahoma. Actually, you know what? Again, you guys are seeing a live or well, a recording of a live process. This is not a scripted video. I did not script this out. So you're seeing my thought processes, if you will, work in real time. I'm gonna put Oklahoma above Alabama, but below the two MAC schools. Um, just because if I'm looking at it, I can't see myself rooting for Oklahoma over Ball State if they were to play. I can't see myself rooting for Oklahoma over Bowling Green if they were to play. Um, I'd root for that upset. So Oklahoma's gone. Now let's move forward. We're gonna put Wyoming down next. The Wyoming Cowboys, they are cursed with, in my personal opinion, one of the worst um, uniforms of all time. Uh, so we're gonna move this here. I mean, just just look at them. White helmets, so already off to a terrible start in my opinion. And then the combination of brown and yellow, it just looks bad. In every single facet, it just looks bad. On top of that, they don't have any players that I care about, want to root for. There is nothing with that program that makes me want to watch. Now, will I watch? Absolutely. I'm a proud member of the College Football Sickos Committee, although they do not recognize me on their board yet. Um, but I'm a big fan. Uh, so if there is football on, I will watch that football. Um, but yeah, Wyoming off the list. Uh, Up next, we're gonna have UAB go. Again, no issue with the coaching staff. I like Trent Dilfer as a person. Uh, I don't have any issue with the Blazers per se. I just don't like their uniforms all that much. And yeah, I would root for them against any of the teams below them on this list, but there aren't that many teams that I would root for them against elsewhere. Uh, Next, we're gonna go with let's go with North Texas. The Mean Green are a very interesting scenario because they lost a lot of the players that I liked. Um, but again, not inherently a bad program in itself. Uh, we're gonna go with Fresno State next. Actually, no, we're not. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Again, live process for me, not scripted. This is just me thinking, who would I prefer over another? You're seeing the full live thought process. I like some of the pieces at South Florida. I like Barry and Brown a lot. For Charlotte, I like the quarterback transfer that they brought in from Florida, Max Brown. I think Biff Poggi is a very funny name for a head coach. Indiana has Kurt Zignetti, and then Fresno State has players that I like as well. Mikey Keene is one of them. I'm gonna put South Florida next. Um, and part of this is because of Instagram comments, and I know that sounds unfair, but this was never supposed to be fair. Excuse the fact that I can't type. And this is the reason. These uniforms are the reason why South Florida has gone next. Because this, alongside the rest of their uniforms, but specifically this one, the amount of Instagram comments that I've seen saying, "Oh, this is so clean." It's not clean. It's radioactive, is what it is. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. It's too bright. Uh, and then they also have this one, which has white helmets and that same neon slime color. And they wear them. They wear them. So South Florida, you're going at 123. Now, next up, we're taking Charlotte off the list. Charlotte 49ers, again, I care about them a little bit more than I typically do this year, but that's going from a minuscule amount to a slightly less minuscule amount. Next up, Indiana. When your most notable thing about your program is who you have at head coach, none of the players, it's not a good sign. Curtis Rourke at quarterback, never really liked Ohio all that much either. We'll get to them when we get to the next tier. But finishing off the strongly disliked category, we're going to have Fresno State at 120. And that will conclude this episode of Zeke-ollege football. If you like my rankings, if you dislike my rankings, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you would change. If you uh, do this list, go ahead and let me know who your top picks are, who your bottom picks are, because I'm interested and I would like to know where my fans stand on this and everything like that. Um, I'm also continuing to post some more updates and let people know when I release these videos. So you can find that over at Zeke-ollege football on Instagram. So you can find that information. Again, I'll post on there when I post on YouTube. But yeah, it's go ahead and check that out. Send me a DM if you feel so inclined. Um, Now, one thing I will like to note before we move on to the next tier, in the next video, is these tiers were meant specifically so I could help myself with the ranking part. If for some reason, and not to say that this is true, but if for some reason I'm looking at it and I'm like, I actually really dislike Tulsa more than I dislike, say, Indiana, then I'll put Tulsa down. But, the goal for that is just so it can help me with the rankings. It's not concrete just because one team is in a tier below another one. It doesn't mean it can't leapfrog. It doesn't mean that it is set in stone. But with that being said, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.